Our economy is in trouble. In markets all across our economy, a few giant corporations hold all the power. It's everywhere. 4 airlines control over 80% of all domestic airline seats in America. 5 health insurance giants own over 80% of the health insurance market. 4 companies dominate over 80% of the beef market. 3 drugstore chains control almost all retail pharmacies in the country. 2 companies sell more than 70% of the beer in America. As competition has been snuffed out in industry after industry, big corporations have made out like bandits, and everyone else has paid the price. How do we pay? American families shell out more for lower quality goods. Small businesses find it harder and harder to compete against the big guys. Innovators and entrepreneurs struggle to promote new ideas that can change the world. Income inequality has left more American families struggling to make ends meet as the top 1% has grown even richer and richer. And as fewer companies have seized more economic power, they have translated their economic muscle into political power, power that they can use to elect the politicians they like, get the kinds of laws and policies they like, and run up even more economic power. It is a nasty, self-perpetuating cycle. And it's exactly why Congress created antitrust laws over a century ago. Now, back then, like today, a few powerful companies were stifling competition in markets all across the economy and gaining extraordinary political power. Congress decided to create laws to break up trusts and protect competition. Today, the Justice Department's Antitrust Division is charged with protecting competition by blocking anti-competitive mergers and going after companies that engage in illegal conduct. For decades, though, antitrust enforcers have put their tools on the shelf. Instead of aggressively enforcing our antitrust laws, they've given the green light to mega merger after mega merger and allowed big corporations to misuse this power without a peep. That problem is set to get worse in the Trump administration. Since taking office, President Trump has loaded his administration with a who's who of former lobbyists, Wall Street insiders, and corporate executives committed to tilting the scales even further in favor of his powerful friends and against American families. And now, President Trump has nominated someone to head the Justice Department's Antitrust Division. His nominee, Makan Delrahim, will be in charge of determining whether there's someone to stand up for competition or let the big guys just get bigger and more powerful. Unfortunately, Mr. Delrahim's approach to antitrust enforcement is based on a hands-off economic theory that just leaves big corporations alone to do pretty much whatever they want to do. Case in point, just last year, when asked what he thought about the proposed merger of AT&T Time Warner, a merger that would combine 2 of the most powerful companies in media, Mr. Delrahim said, he didn't think it was a major antitrust problem. Mr. Delrahim spent over a decade working to convince government officials that other mega mergers weren't antitrust problems. During the airline merger wave that left us with only 4 major carriers, Mr. Delrahim was lobbying the government to approve a merger between U.S. Airways and Delta. Despite the fact that there are only a few large retail pharmacies, he lobbied to let the government approval for CVS's proposed takeover of Caremark. And even though only 5 health insurers control the vast majority of the health insurance market, he tried to convince government regulators to approve Anthem's unsuccessful attempt to merge with Cigna. Now he wants to take a spin through the revolving door and regulate the industries he worked to make even less competitive. For the giant corporations and wealthy individuals who want to amass more power and profits for themselves, Mr. Delrahim is a dream candidate. But he's also a dream candidate for President Trump. President Trump has not been shy about his willingness to use his power against individuals or companies that he doesn't like. And he has made it clear that he expects his agency to carry out his orders. Mr. Delrahim has been a loyal supporter of President Trump's since the campaign. He urged fellow Republicans to support President Trump because he correctly believed that President Trump would appoint a pro-corporate justice to the Supreme Court. He also served as legal counsel to President Trump after he was sworn in, and as the president reversed rules that made it easier for families to pay their mortgages, or reversed rules to prevent people with serious mental illnesses from buying guns, or reversed rules to stop companies from dumping toxic waste into water. As head of the Antitrust Division, Mr. Delrahim will be in a position to make even more harmful decisions. It's no secret that Americans don't trust Washington. They see politicians who care more about catering to corporate donors than fighting for the interests of hardworking people who are trying to figure out how to pay the bills and build a little security in their own lives. It's a real problem, but it's a problem that we can solve. We can begin to solve it by fighting the economic concentration that is putting more money and more power into the hands of a few giant corporations. And that means choosing enforcers who will hold companies accountable when they break the rules. And that means rejecting nominees like Makan Delrahim.